For more than a century, tanks have dominated close combat. With their high mobility and survivability, these vehicles can break through fortified enemy defenses as well as mount highly maneuverable attacks. And today, I'd like to tell you about the pride of German military engineering, the main NATO battle tank, the Leopard 2. About how the armored beast was created, what it can do, and how it's universally recognized right now. This is military news. Let's go. The story of this ambitious project began in the 1960s and was personally supervised by German Defense Minister Helmut Schmidt. Initially, Germany attempted to create a joint design with the U.S. called the MBT-70. However, later on, because of different visions of the concept of a new fighting vehicle, the countries decided to stop cooperation. Later on, the giant of the military industry, Krauss-Maffei AG, acted as the main developer. The notorious Porsche, Wegmann, and AEG Telefunken worked on the running gear, turret, and fire control system, FCS. The prototypes were presented already in 1975, and 4 years later the tank entered into service, replacing the obsolete Leopard 1. Over the entire period, 3,200 were produced. To date, about 2,500 vehicles remain in service. Abroad, the armored beast got no less attention. So ever since the 80s, it's used by the Netherlands and Austria, and later countries such as Canada, Norway, Portugal, Sweden, Turkey, so the list is pretty long. I want to draw your attention to the fact that for more than 40 years, the tank is in the service of the Bundeswehr and is rightfully considered one of the best MBTs in the world. Such success is due to the close attention of the designers to the project and regular modifications. Here, let's talk a little more about it. All versions of the Leopard 2 are made according to the classical scheme, where the engine and transmission compartment is located in the rear, the fighting compartment in the middle, and the control compartment in the frontal part of the vehicle. The turret and hull are welded, covered with the combined armor of the third generation created based on composites. Hinge shields of reinforced rubber serve as additional protection for tracks and bots. The four-man crew includes a commander, gunner, loader, and driver mechanic. The undercarriage layout is a 7-pillar with the engine and drive wheels in the rear. By the way, the first modifications had a 12-cylinder diesel engine MTU MT883 rated at 1,100 kilowatt. Later, it was replaced by a more modern MTU MT883 with an output of 1,210 kilowatts. In the latest version, an auxiliary power unit, APU, was installed to provide additional power for electrical systems. The tank is equipped with 3 fuel tanks with a total capacity of 1,160 liters and hydromechanical transmission rank HSWL 354 with 4 front and 2 rear gears. On a cross-country terrain, Armored Beast can move up to 70 kilometers per hour as well as move in reverse at a speed of 30 kilometers an hour. Among other advantages of the German vehicle is the ability to pass 4-meter forward and 1-meter obstacles. The Leopard 2 has an advanced optical system. The Carl Zeiss company developed for it a Sight EMES 15 with a 12x electro-optical laser rangefinder. Plus, like its predecessor, it has a TZF-1A spotting scope. Night vision equipment ensures round-the-clock participation in battles. A fire control system with a 2-plane stabilizer allows the tank to fire even on the move. Speaking of weapons, the Leopard 2 is mounted on a 20mm RH-120 smoothbore gun by Rheinmetall. The ammunition consists of 42 rounds, 15 of which are located in the aft niche and the other 27 along the left side. The ammunition includes a sub-caliber BOPS-type DM-43 or shaped charge projectile, such as the DM-12. These projectiles can penetrate about 600 to 700 millimeters of armor at a distance of 2 kilometers. In recent versions, A6, A7, the length of the gun barrel has been increased to 55 calibers, which greatly increased the power and accuracy of the shot. 2 7.62mm MG3 machine guns, one of which was paired with the gun and the second was located next to the loader's hatch, served as a secondary weapon. These machine guns were used only on German types, while the Dutch used FN mag machine guns and the Swiss used MG87 7.5mm machine guns. As for the latter model, it was also equipped with a remotely controlled weapon station with a Browning M2HB large caliber machine gun. In addition to this deadly kit comes the universal throwing unit used for firing smoke grenades. As I said, there are many modifications to the Leopard 2. The first 3 series had no fundamental differences, and the improvements affected mainly the thermal imager, ammunition, surveillance equipment, and electronics. The next version, the 2A4, which probably became the most popular, had a digital fire control system with an improved ballistic calculator, fire suppression system, high-powered shells, and turret with enhanced armor protection. The 2A5 variant received a wedge-shaped armor in the front of the turret, an additional thermal device for the crew commander, and a new braking system. The Leopard 2A6, in addition to an enlarged cannon, was equipped with an electrically operated turret and the best mine armor protection at the time. The latest version, the 2A7 Plus, unveiled in 2010, is modular and optimized for specific customer requirements. It differs from the previous version in increased protection, digital turret, improved IMS performance, commander's brake, modern communication system, and the most powerful DM-11 projectiles in its class. Many basic systems have been replaced by digital systems and linked together. It's worth noting that with such a set, the Leopard gained in weight, and instead of the usual 50 tons, weighed all 70. Oh yes, in addition to the models I've listed, there are a dozen more vehicles developed based on our hero. These include a self-propelled artillery unit, several bridge builders, and an armored recovery vehicle. The combat career of this German development began only 2 decades after it entered into mass production. Thus, Leopard 2A Plus and 2A5 models operated in the international forces to prevent conflict in Kosovo and Macedonia in the period from 1990 to 2004. The tanks were then sent to Afghanistan, where they showed good results and accomplished combat missions. The real test of the tanks was the war in Syria, where the most significant losses occurred. About 7 Turkish Leopards were killed by the Kurdistan People's Army troops. Such combat results hurt the image of the project, although to be fair, it should be noted that Turkey used in combat all the same outdated 2A4, which has no additional armor. To summarize, we'd like to say that the Leopard 2 has turned out to be a very expensive but very balanced and reliable tank. For several decades, the German machine has kept up with the times, and thanks to constraint updates, it's still able to strike fear and panic into the enemy. What do you think about the Leopard 2? Share your feedback and ideas for the next videos in the comments. Give us a like if you are interested, and don't forget about the bell. We'll see you soon.